Los Angeles police detective found guilty of murder.
What happens when love turns toxic and desire becomes deadly?
A tragic love triangle ends with one lover dead and the other sentenced to prison.
Jealousy.
Did you ever consider shooting your wife?
An emotion as old as time has the power to twist hearts and darken minds.
Convicted murderess Gertrude Banishevsky appeared before the Indiana Parole Board.
Throughout history, envy has ignited shocking crimes, transforming passion into ruthless betrayal.
Sarah Kolb is serving 53 years for killing Adrian Reynolds back in 2005.
Behind every headline lies a story of obsession, control, and desperation. Today, we explore chilling tales where jealousy pushed people beyond the brink. Brace yourself for a journey into the darkest corners of human emotion. Join us as we uncover 9 people who killed out of jealousy.
Gertrude Banishevsky appeared before the Indiana Parole Board and asked to be released from prison after 20 years behind bars.
In the mid-1960s, a disturbing case of cruelty unfolded in Indianapolis. A middle-aged woman, consumed by bitter envy, took charge of a teenage girl and subjected her to unspeakable torment. The caretaker's motivation stemmed from a toxic mix of jealousy and resentment towards the young victim's vitality. Shockingly, the perpetrator didn't act in isolation. She manipulated a group, including her own offspring and local youths, to participate in the abuse. The teenager's life ended tragically, a direct consequence of the caretaker's malevolent influence. Following a trial, the woman was found guilty of the most serious murder charge. After 2 decades behind bars, she was granted parole. She spent her final years in obscurity, possibly haunted by the memory of her heinous actions until her passing in 1990.
Los Angeles police detective found guilty of murder.
In 2009, a shocking revelation rocked the Los Angeles Police Department. A veteran detective's carefully constructed facade crumbled, exposing a dark secret from over 2 decades earlier. In 1986, consumed by intense jealousy over a romantic rival, this officer committed a heinous act. The victim's case remained unsolved for years, while the perpetrator continued to serve in law enforcement. However, advancements in forensic technology eventually tied the detective to the crime scene. The exposure of this hidden past as a murderer sent shockwaves through the community. The court's verdict resulted in a life sentence, effectively ending the detective's career and freedom. This case serves as a stark reminder that even those entrusted with public safety can succumb to destructive emotions, leading to unthinkable actions.
Salcido has confessed to the murders.
April 14, 1989, stands as a grim chapter in California's wine country history, marked by Ramon Salcido's devastating crime spree. Consumed by jealousy and impaired by alcohol and cocaine, Salcido unleashed unspeakable violence against his own family. He attacked his young daughters, 4-year-old Sofia, 22-month-old Teresa, and 3-year-old Carmina, leaving them for dead in a remote ditch. Miraculously, Carmina survived the horrifying ordeal. His wife Angela, her mother, and 2 young sisters, Ruth and Maria, aged 12 and 8, also fell victim to his wrath in Cotati. The rampage extended to his boss, Tracy Tuvey, at the Grand Cru Winery. Salcido fled to Mexico but was swiftly apprehended and returned to the U.S., where he was convicted of multiple first-degree murders and sentenced to death. Christine Palila's life took a sinister turn fueled by jealousy and insecurity. In 2003, the former Miss Irresistible committed a horrifying quadruple murder in a Houston home, targeting her 2 closest friends and 2 others. For years, authorities struggled to solve the case, unaware that Paolia, once embraced by the victims, was the mastermind behind the killings. Investigators later uncovered deep-rooted envy and personal grudges as the driving forces behind the crime. Convicted and sentenced to life in prison, Paolia's descent from a celebrated teen to a notorious killer remains a chilling reminder of how jealousy can consume and destroy. Jealousy can twist reality, and for Sarah Kolb it turned deadly. In 2005, the high school junior from Moline, Illinois, harbored intense resentment toward 16-year-old Adrienne Reynolds, a new student who quickly gained popularity. Sarah, the self-proclaimed leader of a tight-knit social clique, felt threatened by Adrienne's budding friendship with her on-and-off boyfriend, Corey Gregory. On January 21, 2005, Sarah invited Adrienne to lunch under the guise of making peace. Instead, a heated argument erupted in Sarah's car. Fueled by rage and jealousy, Sarah and Corey attacked Adrienne, strangling her to death. To cover their crime, they enlisted a friend to help dismember and burn Adrienne's body at a remote farm. Sarah Kolb was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 53 years in prison. Her chilling story remains a haunting reminder of how jealousy can spiral into fatal violence. Hels Klotterman's jealousy spiraled into a deadly obsession in 2006. Fueled by resentment toward her romantic rival, Els Van Doren, she took drastic measures. Both women were involved in a tangled love triangle with the same man, a dangerous dynamic that turned deadly. During what should have been a routine skydiving jump in Belgium, Van Doren's parachute failed, sending her plummeting to her death. Investigators uncovered that Klottermans had tampered with the gear, driven by fierce envy and a desperate need to eliminate her competition. Her calculated betrayal shattered lives and led to a 30-year prison sentence, though she remains eligible for parole, a grim reminder of how jealousy can twist love into something lethal. In a chilling case from 1999, 19-year-old Caroline Reed Robertson shocked Melbourne, Australia with a crime born of obsession. Her victim was 15-year-old Rachel Barber, a talented dancer Robertson had once babysat. Plagued by self-loathing, Robertson became fixated on Rachel's beauty and popularity, seeing her as everything she wasn't. On March 1st, Robertson lured Rachel to her apartment, claiming it was for a psychological study. There, she strangled the unsuspecting teenager with a telephone cord. After hiding the body for days, she buried it on her father's property. Robertson's motive was a delusional plan to assume Rachel's identity. Police found applications for Rachel's birth certificate in Robertson's apartment, revealing her intent to start a new life as Rachel. For this heinous act, Robertson received a 20-year prison sentence. She was released on parole in January 2015 after serving 15 years. This case stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked jealousy and mental instability. In March 2007, Knoxville, Tennessee faced a chilling tragedy rooted in betrayal and jealousy. Sean Powell, just 18, became the unintended victim of a shattered marriage. Eric McLean, a devoted father of two, discovered that his wife, Erin McLean, was involved in a romantic relationship with Powell, a former student of hers. Tensions boiled over one night when Eric confronted Powell, who was waiting in his car near the McLean residence. Overwhelmed by emotional pain and jealousy, Eric fired a fatal shot, hitting Powell in the face. He maintained it was an accident. Charged with first-degree murder, Eric was ultimately found guilty of reckless homicide, receiving probation. The case left Knoxville stunned, highlighting the destructive power of love gone wrong.
A love triangle and a Chandler teacher at the center of it all.
Jealousy has driven people to commit unspeakable acts, and Sixto Balbuena's story is no exception. In 2009, the 18-year-old student from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, was trapped in a love triangle with tragic consequences. Sixto was romantically involved with his 16-year-old classmate, Melissa LaRosa. Unbeknownst to him, she was also dating Jeffrey Abramson, a 37-year-old teacher at their school. Fueled by jealousy and desperation, Balbuena confronted LaRosa and Abramson in a fit of rage. During a heated encounter, he fatally stabbed LaRosa before turning the knife on himself, though he survived his injuries. The investigation exposed a disturbing web of manipulation, secrecy, and obsession. Balbuena was convicted of second-degree murder, forever marking a life consumed by jealousy's darkest edge. Jealousy, an emotion so familiar, yet capable of unfathomable destruction. These stories remind us how powerful envy can be when left unchecked. Were these tragic fates inevitable, or could they have been prevented? What drives someone to kill for love or possession? If these stories left you intrigued or unsettled, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay connected to more gripping true crime tales. We hope to see you in our next video.